speaker. And as your speaker, I'll be sharing so much about JCVs, how we started and where we are up to today. And I think you'll get one or two things to learn from the resilience of Jay and how I got into HR, even having done the course 8 years earlier. So Jay is, I'm the CEO and founder of JCVs. And Sheila said that she's told you about what JCVs does. So I started JCVs back in 2018, December. And this is after I had lost my job. Primarily, I had done HR. I cleared in 2011. Never practiced. By then, I was working in an industry, a manufacturing company as a machine operator in industrial area. So in 2015, I made a decision to transition after I had done my first diploma in HR, where now I joined Naivas Supermarkets as a loss control officer. So in 2018, September, I was fired because of a medical condition that I developed back then in 2016. So I developed epilepsy in 2016 September, and by this time I was just trying to. I had a good HR at first who helped me seek medication. I sought medication, and as well as seeking medication. In 2018, it ruptured again. And it was so rampant. I could get even 20 attacks in a day. So one of my supervisors came and told me that I need to seek medication, and she had guaranteed that I was on leave. But unfortunately, the HR didn't have this information. So the supervisor as well, Aliniruka, and so I had to go home. So I was fired, and when I was fired, that is when now the idea of just starting something that could help other job seekers came into my mind. Even though previously I had started some groups that I was running, and guys could come to me and tell me that, Jay, we need someone that can do our CVs. So I will refer them to someone who used to do this. Yeah. Thank you, Sheila.
Wow. So, you just mentioned you lost your job, yeah?
Yeah.
So what? Yeah. So and that's and you were running groups before.
Yes.
So what was that moment or time that you realized that I just want to focus more on now employability? So yeah.
So now, when I was working for Naivas, there's a day that I met, I think it was on the 16th of April 2015. I decided to create groups for HR professionals, especially the entry level, so that you can have discussions. And when I created these groups, this group, I was also in other HR groups. So I will see a HR post a job, and I will want to link people to this job. So I will inbox the person hiring, and then I will post in my group if I have an advert. Like maybe they are looking for an accountant, I will inbox the person hiring, tell them that I have a candidate for this. So I used to connect people that I didn't know. By then I was in Nakuru. I was in Naivasha first before I was transferred to Nakuru. So I could connect people in Nairobi even without knowing them. And I had that trust that every time the recruiter will ask me if I knew the person, I will always say yes. And all this time, I'm just helping, not sure that I could make a living out of this. So I did the first group was full. Other now professionals started joining as well. We did the second group. So by the time I'm getting fired, I already have 6 groups. Yeah.
So you had, before you were fired, you had already started 6 group, and currently we are there are 14 groups. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are the impacts that you have noticed over the years from running just the groups and just getting people just appreciating your services?
Now, one thing is that when I started JCVs, I now after I got fired, I was so intentional about JCVs. I even didn't know JCVs could help me earn a living, could be my source of income for all the period that I've been running JCVs. So we've had a big impact, especially through now the CV services. And one thing I know with job seekers is that job seekers need guidance. Job seekers need someone that reminds them that you need to apply for this job. I know several people are in the CV writing business, and JCVs is very unique with what we do. We provide jobs on daily basis, and you can see from even our following on the channel that we started a year ago. We might be hitting 31,000 by tomorrow. So what I mean is that some of the job seekers, so several job seekers do not know even where to get the jobs to apply for. So as Jay, I made a decision that I'll be availing these jobs to the job seekers and then even supporting them. You can see from the channel, I post jobs and where I'm asking for people that have specific skills. And I'm looking for a specific position. Like today, I was looking for a sales account manager and a sales and marketing manager for in a hotel industry. Now, when I do this, I'm just helping that person who could have applied for a role late. I'm helping that person that could even have not seen that job, were it posted online or even on a company website. So I always avail the roles to these job seekers, and through the jobs that we post, I think you see that we do a monthly evaluation just to see the progress and the impact that we've made through the group. Last month we had an analysis for May last weekend, and we saw that out of several people that had made applications, out of around 1,000 people, we had we had thank you so much, Peter. Out of the 1,000 people that around 1,000 people that applied for jobs, 91 had gotten jobs through the channel. Over 100 people had gotten interviews. Others had shared the jobs with their relatives and friends, and they got interviews. And even about 20 of them got jobs. So it is now that impact that always motivates me. When I wake up in the morning, you see, I do prayers because I know through prayer, I was able to get healed. The epilepsy ended after a period of 6 years. And as I got healed, I knew that prayers work. And that's why every morning I must start my day with a prayer. And I've been doing this for the last 3 years. Since 2022, when I got healed, I've been doing prayers every day. So it's because now, yesterday I was in an event at Villarosa Kempinski, and one person came to me and asked me that, Jay, I've not seen your prayer today. And this is someone that I'm meeting for the first time. I didn't know her. So told her that I did share a prayer on LinkedIn. And she was like, maybe it's because I was rushing to this event. That's why I didn't see it. So let me rush to your page and see the prayer and then start my day. So the impact that you've created along over the years is an impact that for me, I always feel proud. I've been able to win several awards because of the groups that we run. I've been able to visit, I've been able to get to tables that I wouldn't have imagined that I would do because of the groups. And I believe that we are, as much as we are committed to just making this impact, I'm sure that we still have so much more to do.
Wow. I think before we continue, if you have any questions, you can just share them on the comment section and we'll be able to direct them to Jay. So, Jay, do you remember your first time client, the one that sourced your service and they were able maybe to apply for a job and they were able to get it?
Yes, I do. One thing is that for me, anytime I converse with a client, I'll always have you at the back of my mind. When you call me, even after 5 years, I'll tell you, this is Noah Koech. I did your CV in this year. You are in this industry. So I remember there's a lady from Coca-Cola who was my first client. In the first week, I got 3 CVs. And out of the 3 CVs, the first person I did was a lady from Coca-Cola, and she got a job after we did her CV. So I always remember any of the clients that you've handled. They're always at the back of my mind. You call me, I'll tell you your CV is 2 pages. This is how it appears, even after 5 years. Shayla, we can't hear you. You are muted.
Apologies for that. So Jay, over the years, you've built your brand, yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know how are you able to build your brand, and what maybe are the challenges you faced while building your brand, and how are you able to overcome that?
Now, one thing is that I think most people most people are afraid of getting into entrepreneurship because maybe either you are working or you are in a comfortable place. So for me, getting into entrepreneurship and just starting JCVs was an easy decision because already I had lost my job. I tried applying for another job uh, within that period, and I was fired after. When I got to this second job, um, I had a convulsion, and I've seen an epilepsy champion as well in the group in the webinar, Mr. Sami Nyongesa. So what happens is that now you need to understand your triggers. Being an epileptic person, so I had triggers, and I knew that one of the biggest triggers was the weather. If I could be hit by high temperatures, definitely I'll get an attack. Anger was another cause. But now, through the period, through this time, when I made this decision to start JCVs, I had to align with people in HR because I knew this was a biggest opportunity for me. Came to Nairobi now from Nakuru, shifted from Nakuru because I had lost my job. I wasn't even able to pay for my house. So I just left with the clothes that I had on me. And the other stuff, I left it for the landlord just to be able to maybe sell them and recover their money. So when I came to Nairobi, I made a decision to start joining any HR event that was. And when I made some few coins within the first 2 months. I went and bought myself some funny colored hoodies. Like the one I'm wearing now is an orange hoodie. So I had yellow hoodies, I had pink hoodies, where I will brand JCVs, go to events. And the other thing that one of the biggest ways I was able to brand myself was through volunteering. I made a decision to volunteer so that I could be seen. I could come out of comfort zone. I will brand myself. I will come out, be seen with people. So there's a time we had the HR month in 2021. I made a decision that I was not going to work during the day. I was going to join the Institute of Human Resource Management in their visits to several schools. So the university talk started back in 2021, and that is where I was the only person. Fortunately, I was the only person that was offering CV writing services. So I will have an opportunity to speak in every session. So when I would go to these schools, at first, you could feel trembles with my voice, but through now volunteering, because I really wanted to perfect this uh, challenge, and I made sure that I was volunteering, and then I kept on. I sought the services of some mentors from the HR space, where I have several mentors in HR, people that I could work with, people that when you're seen with them, even in a photo, someone really looks at you as someone that has made it, even though you've not. So mentorship was one of the things. Number two, it was volunteering. Number three aspect was networking. I will go to any HR event just to get to know people, just to meet them, just to share ideas and learn from them. So those three were the biggest strategies that I used. And then on the challenges part, the biggest part was that when I was starting JCVs, I had never used computer, had never learned computer skills. So I was starting from zero. I started JCVs using my phone. I was doing CVs using my phone. So that was one of the biggest challenges. The other challenge number two was lack of an office. I know meeting several people online, people will not believe that you are a genuine person. So I had to get an office, and I remember I started off at Railway House. Railway House is just the office next to bus station, South Bay bus station. And when I was here, I was sharing an office with someone who was doing screen printing. I remember there's a time a client comes in for coaching, and because this person is doing screen printing, and there's that tough smell from the inks that he was using. So this client fainted in the office, and so I had to make a decision so that I will move. So it was an embarrassing situation because now I'm sharing an office with someone, and the client has fainted in the office. So I decided to go and work from a hotel. There's a hotel that was in town on Accra Road. I decided to go work from that hotel. I worked in that hotel, from that hotel, for about 2 months. So I will get the hotel in the morning, have my breakfast there. If there's any client coming, I'll buy them tea. So we meet at the hotel. I have my lunch there as well. And then at 4, I have my 4 p.m. tea, then go back. So I did this for 2 months now as I'm looking for another office. Yeah.
Jay, so how were you able to build trust? Because in business now, transitioning from employment to now being an entrepreneur. So how were you able to build trust among your clients?
Now, when it comes to building trust, I built trust even before I quit employment, or I was got sacked. Through the people that I was referring from the groups that I had created, several of them got jobs, and they were giving feedback. They were giving testimonies in the group. Thank you so much, Jay, for helping me get to secure this job. So now guys started developing that trust. And I remember when in 2018, when I was hit hard by the condition, I started seeking medication at Aga Khan. And these people, I think, in the groups, no one knew me, apart from maybe a few individuals. And one of the members suggested that Jay has been supporting us. We need to support him. These guys contributed about 30,000 for my medication. So already there was that trust. Out of the 6 groups, I was able to get 30,000, which helped me in my medication. So as I'm exiting employment now fully just to focus on JCVs, I already have a trusted brand, and people can believe that what I'm offering is something that is authentic.
On networking, yeah.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give maybe a person who's maybe never gone for networking before, or they're afraid of going for networking, that maybe a guide on maybe what worked for you, and you think maybe somebody can put it into practice when they go for these networking events?
Now, one thing with the networking is that even online at the moment, when you look at what several people are doing online, you look at you might see Jay will be in an event. you might see Judy Kangara will be in an event. You might see Neptune will be at an event. If you see Neptune online and see that Neptune is someone that you really admire to meet, someone that you want to maybe have her be your mentor, you might have to make that decision, that hard decision. So in most cases, networking events will involve you investing. I invested in networking. Personally, I invested in networking. I really invested in networking where the people that were the gurus in HR, people that will say something in HR and people feel that so and so has talked in HR and what they have said is something that makes a big impact. Up to today, when you look at some of the people, the big names in HR, the likes of Jen Mtisia, the likes of Paul Ngugi, the likes of Yusuf, Coach Muya, these are the people that I was really following even online. So when I will see them on any poster of an event, and any event that I could manage paying, I will always attend the events. So with networking, you have to be very intentional. You have to make that decision. And as you network, uh, and as you network, you should be able to share your value and get some value from the people that you are meeting. So making networking intentional is very key, and also make sure that you invest in it. It comes with anything that you want to see value as well. You must put your value there. So put your value in terms of time, put your value in terms of finances, and then you'll see what comes through that. For me, I've been to some of the biggest hotels in Nairobi because of networking. I've had to pay that price for me to be able to be where I am. So networking is very critical in our careers and even in branding yourself. There are some people that you will never meet in a supermarket. There are some people that you'll never meet in a kibanda. So these people can only be met in some of the events. And when you see an opportunity to meet them in these events, kindly take that step, make that bold step, go meet them and pay for it.
Nice. So, maybe from your experience in the HR industry,
Yeah.
right now, so what are recruiters, what are HR really looking for in a candidate, and what will help a candidate just stand out and just impress the recruiter?
Thank you for that question as well. What happens in most cases is that when you are recruiting, we are looking at the attitude. As much as you have the qualifications, all other applicants that you come with, you are competing for that role, might have similar qualification or even better qualification. But as well, you look at the attitude, and then companies are looking for people who are called problem solvers. So you need to do enough research about the organization. And once you do enough research about the organization, you are understanding the challenges the organization is facing. So as you understand the challenges the organization is facing, when you're coming for this interview, you should be able to tell the recruiter that I know the challenges the company is facing, and I'm the person that can sort these challenges. So you need to highlight the challenges and how you can be able to solve those challenges. So you might not even highlight the challenge the company is facing, but now what you bring this through the skills that you bring on board, you will be able to help the company solve the challenges that they are facing. And for me, I always tell people that when I'm doing interview coaching, I always tell people that interview coaching is best when answered using real-time examples. So they are asking about a specific skill. Talk about the skill and tell us how you've been able to use that skill in your previous roles. So don't just mention a skill and then keep quiet. They're asking about what skills will help you succeed in this role. For example, they're talking about what skills will help you succeed in a sales executive role. So tell us that negotiation skills that you have, communication skills that you have, but be able to mention that I've used communication skills previously to do ABC, or I've used negotiation skills previously to convince a client or even a tenant to to even renew their lease on time. So talk about the skills and how you've been able to use that skill. So in most cases, we fail interviews because we don't prove to the recruiter enough that we are the people that they're looking for, because we just mention something and then go silent. So you need to be able to mention what value are you bringing to the organization, and how you'd be able to improve the organization performance or even productivity within the shortest time possible.
So what are candidates doing wrong? Yeah, during an interview or maybe before.
Now, what candidates are doing wrong? There are several things that candidates do wrong. Number one, today I was talking to a class at USIU, and one of the things that I had a question on, a similar question, and the number one thing people are making wrong is the lack of following instructions. So a recruiter, an advert is very clear. We want your CV alone. So someone, because you have attached your CV to your certificates, you send your CV and certificates. Now, if the job already you've seen the advert talks about, they are looking for someone who one of the skills or one of the attributes they are looking at is attention to details. So now, you are already showing us that you are not attentive to details even before we invite you for an interview. So the first thing is that candidates do not follow instructions. That's the biggest mistake we have. The second biggest mistake we have is that candidates, especially when you're doing referrals, candidates will assume that they already gotten the job. I have referred several people. I've referred thousands of people for jobs, for job interviews, and people will come to me and tell me, Jay, I'm looking for a job. I get such that in my inbox on daily basis, more than 100 messages for people looking for jobs. And one thing I always ask people is that, what kind of job are you looking for? Someone will tell you, I'm looking for any job. Others will tell you a specific job that they're looking for. When you refer candidates, in most cases, again, you'll find that most candidates that you refer will assume that they already have the job. So they are going there just for formality, which is very wrong. So even if it's a referral, make sure that you're going there and selling your value. Tell the recruiter that you're that you have this skill, and skill 1, 2, 3 that will be able to enable the organization move in the right direction. So as a referral, make sure as well you're doing the same thing that you'll have done were it not for a referral. Then the other mistake job seekers make is that you'll find that they're going for interviews and sometimes they arrive late. The other mistake is that some people do not even carry their basic documents, even a CV. Whether they are asked you to carry a CV or not, make sure you have it, because a CV, I don't think there's a CV that can weigh more than 1 kilogram. So make sure you carry this thing to any interview that you're going for. Whether they ask for it or not, you can have it back, but be with it.
Wow. Okay. Jay, so what are the 3 skills that you think an individual should maybe possess or should strive to have when when maybe looking for employment or making just stand out?
Now, one of the biggest trends now in the job market is that there's a skill on data. Every role now, from HR, from to procurement, to accounting, to even customer service, we're talking about skills related to analysis. So analyzing data is one of the biggest skills that everyone, at least moving forward, should have. So I always advise job seekers that when you have a clear career goal, the number one thing you need to do as a job seeker is you need to have defined goals. So when you have defined goals, you are able now to understand what you're looking for. And when you are able to understand what you're looking for, you can be able to set short-term and long-term goals. So for example, you want to be a HR manager in the next 5 years, or you want to be a finance manager in the next 5 years. What are some of the things that you need to do? So start looking at the HR manager or the finance manager roles. What are they looking for in the finance manager role? What from the qualifications of a finance manager, what skill don't you have? So if it's a skill related to maybe a professional certification that you don't have, start working on it. If it is something related to maybe a specific short course. For example, they're looking for someone with a leadership skills. Maybe you need to go to Kenya School of Government and take your supervision course. So look at that, and then once you establish that these are the gaps that I have on my current career, my current profile, you should be able to bridge those gaps. And once you break those gaps, now you can be able to achieve your career goal. So data analysis, number one. The second skill is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is very key because now it helps you relate well with people within the workplace and even outside the workplace. So the other skill you need to have is problem solving. Problem solving or conflict resolution is also a skill that is very key in the current job market, where now you have to be able to coexist well with others, and even if there's an issue, you can skillfully be able to solve it. Yeah.
As maybe we just wind up and then we'll take questions. So what are the what practical steps maybe should an individual take as they carve out their career path?
Now, the number one thing for all job seekers, there are times that we've had people talk about, I don't want people to talk about I'm looking for any job. So the number one thing people need to do, just go down, sit down, call yourself a meeting. Number one thing you need to define your career goals. Number one thing, define your career goals. Once you define your career goals, now you can be able to understand if there are any gaps, bridge those gaps. The number two thing you need to do, you need to have, if you are keen on a career, this is not entrepreneurship or self-employment. Number two thing you need to do is you need to have work on your CV and cover letter. Have a CV and cover letter that will help you achieve those career goals. Then, as much as you are working on defining your career goals, you should as well be able to align those career goals, work on setting short-term or even chunks for users to be able to work on them, and then short-term goals, and then as they help you get to the long-term goals. The number three thing that we need to do is you need to build your online. You need to build your online presence. Building your online presence is a very key aspect of any job seeker or any person in the careers. And then the other thing you need to do, you need to be very intentional about networking. Be very intentional about networking. As we all know that 70% of the jobs will never be posted. 70% of the jobs will never be posted. These jobs are shared among peers where someone tells me, for me, I get several requests through my inbox on daily basis. Jay, I'm looking for this. Jay, I'm looking for this. So if I have your profile, have your CV, I'll definitely refer you as long as you have a good CV and you have a clear career goal. For those people that do not have clear career goals, let's try to work on these. Let's try to be very intentional with what you want. I always say that if you are starting your career and you understand your career goal, at the first 2 years, you might be working as an assistant. By the third year, by the end of the third year, you should be an officer. By the end of the fifth year, the minimum you should have should be a manager. So I don't want to see a situation where someone has worked for 10 years, they are still working as an officer or an assistant because at some point they lost their career. So for those people especially for those of us that are starting now, let's be clear with our career goals and let's work towards achieving that growth. People often complain about the salaries they are getting, even at 10 years experience. You're being paid something maybe below 100,000. Why? It's because you didn't have a clear career goal, and that is the punishment for you not having that clear career goal. Yeah.
So, and Jay, do you charge guys to be part of the group or the channel?
No, for the channel, it's the group and the channel are very free for everyone to join. Um, very free. We do not charge anything. The other thing I don't judge any job seeker whether I connect you for a job. I will never charge. If I'm to charge anyone, I always charge the employer. But if the employer is not willing to pay, I'll get you a job. I'll help you get a job, but never charge you. Yeah, because I know the pain of someone not working. For the 2 months that I was fired, I really suffered, and so that really came in handy for me to be able to understand some of the struggles job seekers go through. And if there's any opportunities that I post in our channel, and when you get charged, always let me know, because I will never post anything where they're charging job seekers in our channel.
The last question before now we take the questions on the comment section. So, what makes you grounded over the years? So you've organized events also like the upcoming employability summit. What still makes you grounded?
Now, one of the as I've said that I've seen several people come into the industry, and they don't stay for long; they leave because what makes them leave is because they are copying what we are doing, and it's not a passion for them. So for me as Jay, I do what I do because of I'm very passionate about it. I get to work by 6 a.m. in the morning, and I leave as well sometimes very late, because it's passion for me. I just love doing it. So what keeps me grounded is the fact that when I get feedback from people that, hey Jay, I got a job through your channel, I got a job through the CV that you did for me, I got a job because you coached me for this interview. That is what gives me that motivation, and that is what has been keeping me going. When you look at our social media channels, you'll see there are several feedback on clients who've been able to get jobs, clients who've been able to even transition. People that have been able to get jobs in the UK, people that have gotten jobs in the US, people that have gotten, several of our clients are in the UAE. Sure that when I board a plane to the UAE, I'll have some of our clients serving me. So I always feel that the impact we've had as JCVs, or the impact we've had globally, is an impact that will always keep me going, will always keep me motivated. And that's why, as JCVs, I always look through the feedback that we get from the job seekers, the evaluation we do on monthly basis. I always feel that there are things that we need to do to just help job seekers. Like the summit that is coming up on Saturday is because of the feedback that we've been getting from the channel. And also, there are some people that share CVs to me where they're able to. I look at the CVs and I always give feedback to these job seekers. Tell them that your CV is not okay. Work on it this way and this way, so that it can help you, even increase your chances of you getting an interview invite. So the events that I create are events that I always look at. I'm looking at giving people an opportunity to network, giving people an opportunity to uh, interact, giving people an opportunity to even learn skills like public speaking, because I identify some people from the channel that are very shy, and I give you a small opportunity. I give you a volunteer role where you are able to interact with people on the registration desk. So through that, I can be able to develop other people. So I look at the weaknesses, I look at the gaps that are there for job seekers and even individual people, and I'm able to help them grow through the ranks. So the activities that we always plan are activities centered or focused on helping job seekers achieve one or two things in their career.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. So, just to echo what Jay has said, so at JCVs we are able and to just cater and tailor needs from people in diverse backgrounds. So if you're in America, we are able to do your CV and just also do coaching for you. So feel free to just reach us. So we have a question from Peter. So why do most HRs not share or call back to inform interviewees of their unsuccessfulness in interviews to allow unsuccessful ones to move on instead of being anxiously hopeful for an opportunity long lost?
Now, thank you so much for that question, Peter. One thing that we need to understand is that in most cases, most organizations are doing manual applications, and when they do manual applications, you'll find that, as I've said, that we have a channel that has 30,900 people as at now. Out of the 30,900, if you have someone that's applying for a job, if you have someone that is applying for a role, like you advertise a role like an accounts assistant, I'm sure within 1 hour you'll have more than 200 applications. So sometimes, as a HR, I'm just talking on behalf of HRs, and this is very practical. As a HR, if I want to interview 10 people, I might even go through 50 CVs and get the candidates that I'm looking for. So the other 150 CVs will be left pending, so that in case I'll need someone else in future, I can be able to go through the CVs. So you end up not going through all the CVs, but you sent your application. And for the job seekers, so the HR can only be able to respond to the people. In most cases, they'll respond to the people that went for the interview, and then give that feedback. Now, in most cases, as a job seeker, whether you even get to the interview stage, there's always one thing that I advise job seekers: never ever bank on a job until you get the offer. So one thing that job seekers, why if you see people ask this question, is because there are people that go for interviews and even stop applying for other jobs because they feel that they did well in that interview. Whereas there's someone who did better than you. So once you go for an interview, get that closure. Forget that you went for an interview and then focus on applying for other jobs. If you get 2-3 offers within the same time, you'll choose the best offer. So don't stop applying and wait for the HR to respond to you. Because now play your part. Let the HR play their part. If there's a HR that can be able to respond, let them respond. If there's a HR that will not be able to respond, continue playing your part as a job seeker, continue applying, forget that you applied for this position. If there's anything, the organization will call you to inform you that you passed the interview, and if you pass the interview and we are giving you an offer. So at that point now you can stop doing other applications. But before that, always make sure that you proceed with other applications.
I hope, Peter, your question has been answered. So Ade, immediately after the session, we'll share it we'll record it, and it's on record, so you'll be able to review it on our YouTube channel at JCVs. So Sammy is asking, what will you tell a HR or a management that chooses not to extend or renew the employment term of their staff?
Chooses not to do
extend, not to extend
or
renew their employment terms of their staffs because of noticing they're not going through because they're going through a certain condition.
Now, I know Sammy. I understand from what point Sammy is talking, and personally, I've told you guys that I lost my job. I was fired because I was epileptic. For me, it has taught me several things. And when you look at it from an employer's perspective, you will feel that the employer might have a reason to fire you. The employer needs his work done. The employer needs operations to proceed. But now you are here. You are the person that needs to enhance these operations, but you are not able to do it. So an employer can lay you off. Now this is my reasoning from an employer's perspective. The reasoning from an employee's perspective will be that I'm unwell. I'm not able to do this, not because of my doing, but because it's naturally happening. So when you look at these two scenarios, as an employer, you'll want your operations to go on. As an employee, you'll want to be taken care of at this point, so that by the time you are healing, you can be able to proceed because you've been doing the work well, and even before that, maybe condition came about. So in most cases, employers, especially now, the biggest number of employers in our country are private employers, where most are startups, and they are focused on making profits only in most cases. So they might not be able to renew a contract. So as a job seeker, what you need to do is that the organizations now, it's the policy of that organization that is not very diverse in terms of covering people who are having issues. Now, like with epilepsy is a condition that is you need to have registered with the national NWPD, people with disabilities. You need to register with them. So as you register with them, it's the policy of the organization that can really cover you as an employee. But if the policy of the organization is not so clear on diversity, equity, and inclusion, then you might not have that opportunity to have your contract renewed.
Okay, so thank you, Sammy, for your question. So Neptune is saying, Jay, from your story, you are indeed a hero. It has been a journey for you to build your brand. Congratulations. So Ade is asking, what's your perspective on the role of AI? Yeah.
Apologies. Before you proceed to the next question,
okay.
Just one question to Jay. Having said what he said, does he think, what does he think about, is the HR there to protect the employees or the employer?
Now, the HR is there to protect the employees and also the employer. The HR is you're acting as a liaison between the two. But now, the HR can only protect you using the policy. So if the policy is not very clear on how the HR should protect you, then the HR hands will be tied.
George, your question has been answered.
Yeah, well answered. I think the policy states everything.
Okay, thank you for the question. So Ade is asking, what is your perspective on the role of AI in the workplace?
Now, I know when you talk about AI, most of us thought that AI is coming to take our jobs, and that is not the reason. What is happening with AI is that the AI has just come in to simplify what we are doing. It has come to support what we are doing. So AI is a skill that now we all need at the workplace because it's helping us. It is easing our work. So that is the main role of AI. So some of the things that we could have done maybe in an hour, we can be able to do it within 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay. And also, just to add on what Ade has said, during the Employability Summit, we will be having a panel discussing on emerging trends, and AI will be part of it. So, yeah, we'll be talking. So be sure to join and just learn on how AI is being integrated into the employment space. So we have Bright, he's saying, hi Jay, recently there are some agents that link employers to employers. If you have, please share. So, and then there are jobs that require we do an email, but again, have an on-site application. So do we apply twice on the site and then the email? I think we can answer that first.
Now, in most cases, as I've said, that one of the biggest mistakes we make is not following instruction. So any job advert will have instructions. So whether you're applying it via email or whether you apply it on the site, So the job advert will have that. The job advert will have that instruction. So follow instruction to the letter.
So so when asked to send a CV and a cover letter, so should you type the letter or send it as a document on mail? So what does, maybe you can answer that first.
So when you've been asked to send a CV and a cover letter,
Yeah.
you follow instruction, you send the two as separate documents, unless you've been asked to have it as one.
Okay, so even on email. So
Yes, even on email, you have it as an attachment, and then you can be able to have an email body. Always make sure that for any job that you're applying, you have an email body.
Yeah. Okay, so what does a cover letter entail?
So a cover letter is just an introduction of your CV to that potential employer, and it consists of three parts. The introduction, talking about your interest in that position. The second part is now the body, or the body can be 1 or 2 paragraphs, talking about your qualifications or your skills in relation to that job, the skills you have in relation to that job. At this point as well, in the body, you should mention if you have any achievements, you should be able to mention them in relation to the job that you're applying for, especially when they are talking about maybe one of the responsibilities that they are looking for someone that will be able to help optimize costs. So talk about how you optimize costs in organization A and how you can be able and how that impacted the organization. So you can incorporate some of the achievements in that role, because especially if they relate to the role. And then the last part is now what you call the conclusion. So the conclusion is just signing off and telling the recruiter that you are looking forward to having them give you an opportunity to have a conversation with them now through an interview, where you can be able to explain how you will meet their organizational goals through your skills.
Okay, so just the last question from Wright. So many jobs require positions in the senior levels, like managers or supervisors, yet most are looking for entry level or mid level. So what's your take on this?
Many jobs require, sorry, come again.
Many jobs require positions in the senior levels, like manager or supervisor, yet most people are looking for entry levels and middle levels. So please share your view.
Hiyo Kiswahili simuona sipati. Many jobs require
Positions in the senior level, like management.
Yeah.
Maybe Brett can just open the mic and just clarify on that question. Right. Yes, I think as Bright prepares, we have the next Sami says, JCVs, your footsteps are a blessing to many and you are approachable, supportive. Mungu alikuweka katika nafasi hiyo na azidi kukuinua na kuneemisha zaidi. Thank you, asante sana Sami. So the Mercy is asking, why will a recruiter ask for a video recording of your introduction for a HR assistant job?
Now, I always say that every company has their policy when it comes to recruitment. But I've found out that there are organizations that, especially for those organizations that will tell you to do a presentation about a strategy. In most, I've had people in marketing, people in HR, people in procurement, even people in admin. They are told to do a presentation on a strategy. In most cases, these companies use these strategies for their benefit. So you go there, you do your strategy, you share with them, and then you are not able to. They are not able to proceed with the interview. For me, I will feel that for a HR assistant doing a video as a pre-assessment or a pre-interview, for me, it does not go well with me. I will prefer pre-assessment, especially for people that are applying for jobs with the companies like the airline industry. Airline industry, they do that most often, especially for Dubai companies. And for HR role, I'll because in most cases you're doing a video because it's a customer-facing role where they are keen on maybe a specific body size, a specific maybe a kind of beauty, or even they're looking at the makeup that you have. So, but for HR role, I will not. For me, it will not be a good thing to do. But if for customer-facing role like now the airline, then I feel that that is okay.
Jay,
Yes.
if I may add on this,
Yeah.
I think for me, I'll take it as an advantage
Yeah.
because I don't think many people, in interviews, they ask you this one question: introduce yourself.
Yeah.
And when they say introduce yourself, it's not just saying my name is George Muthoni.
Mm.
It's more of you telling them what you do, what are your strengths, your weaknesses. So them asking you to record yourself where you're comfortable, you're at home, you can do like 10 retakes, 5 retakes. I think
Yeah.
it's an advantage for you to proceed to the next level. So I think for me, I'll be grateful for this.
Now,
Hi, Jay.
hi, how are you?
Fine, this is done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just depends. The recruitment process differs from one organization to another,
Yeah.
and there's no problem on how one organization chooses to follow their process. So there's this one particular job I was asked to record myself,
Yeah.
to introduce myself, and imagine that was a wonderful opportunity because it gave me opportunity to refine myself, to refine my speech. I'll make notice mistake, and I had to get a perfect introduction for that.
Yeah.
They invited me
Exactly.
for an interview. Of course, I wasn't successful. After that, they ghosted me, but at least that introduction itself got me to an interview.
Uh,
So
that,
I think
That's my point.
we have to embrace, we have to be adaptable, we have to be flexible and understand that there's no one way of, it can't be the same way that people will do the same thing. So everyone will have different way of doing things. So you just have to be embraced as long as we need a job. If you need a job, yes, we are going to embrace that.
Asi, you want to say something?
Not really, not really. Thank you very much for the different opinions. I appreciate.
Karibu. I can see Simon has his hand raised.
Can just ask.
Asked previously. I'm not the one who asked that question, but I brought it here. The person who was asking.
Oh, Simon, kindly unmute and you be clear so that you can understand your question. Hello, Simon.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible now.
Yeah, I think there's a question that was asked previously. I'm not the person who asked it, but I think I brought it clearly. That person was trying to ask that most of the jobs that are public, they require a lot of experience. They are big positions, and most of the people, they are looking at entry-level jobs. So it's like that person wanted me to
So that person wanted me to expand on that.
Yeah, to expand on that, or the things I'm about.
Now, when companies are doing adverts, one of the things that you need to understand, we are doing advert from our, like for example, if JCV is doing an advert, well, there are some of the specific skills that we are looking at from the job seeker. And when you talk about having someone with 5 years experience, 10 years experience, we know the weight of that responsibility. And that's why you'll find that companies are looking at, they have a specific category of, they're looking for someone at managerial level, they're looking for someone at supervisory level or even entry level, because they understand their needs. So because the companies understand their needs, and the same way that we've talked about how companies conduct the interviews, even having calling for videos and maybe recording yourself, your audio, it also now goes the same way to what they are looking at. So because they understand their needs, and their needs will vary from one organization to another. So what you can do as an entry-level person might not be the same thing that someone with 5 years experience will do. And that's why you'll find that companies are looking at people with those different years of experience. And then also, I don't think they are much of as much as we have several people in the entry level positions, we also have several people in the managerial positions. The only positions that are maybe the board, the CEO positions is where now you find a few people applying. But entry level, mid level, and even managerial level, you have a good number of people that are applying for the same.
So then, in short, what would you advise maybe people who are entry level? In that I just maybe went for 3 months attachment and then I graduated and never done anything. What would be your advice to such most, because most of the people are in that stage?
Now, one thing is that I've a good example of you have asked a good question, and just recently, last week, there's a job seeker who is on long holiday that approached me on my inbox, and she told me that she's still in school, and she told me that I think she's here. Mary, are you here? I think Mary, I think she's here. So Mary approached. Mary is a student at JQuat, and she's doing HR, and she's on long holiday. So she approached me and told me that she'd like to volunteer at my place. So I had an opportunity. I gave her that opportunity. So she joined us on Tuesday. When she joined us on Tuesday, we had a career fair. Mary is present. You can see in the chat she's present. Mary has joined us on Tuesday. On Tuesday, we had a career fair at USIU. Mary has been at USIU for the 3 days. Yeah. Tuesday, Wednesday, and today. Now, what I'm trying to say is that job seekers feel some of us are very comfortable wherever we are. You go for attachment and you just stay at home. You need to get out there. You need to seek for these opportunities. If Mary could not have asked me for the opportunity, I would not have given her, because now she's aggressive, and I'm sure maybe she asked several people, and I was the person that gave her that opportunity. So as a job seeker, you need to be aggressive. You need to go that extra mile. Sometimes it's not about the money at this point. So as a job seeker, especially when you have attachment or internship experience, it's not about money. It's about you gaining the skills, even within the 3 months or even the 6 months. Sometimes you might get in an organization as a volunteer, and within the first 1-2 weeks, someone starts paying you, and you grow with that organization. And a good example is there's a guy called Festus. I think we all know Festus Mtua. Festus Mtua has been working with JCVs for the last 2.5 years. Festus approached me as well as a volunteer, and through his commitment and through his work, I was able to give him a permanent job. He has left JCVs to go for a bigger role, and I supported him even during the transition. So as a job seeker, you need to be very intentional with what you want. I know there's job seekers that will come and tell you that I'm looking for an internship and I want 100,000 for the internship. And you are approaching me, and maybe I have not even advertised for that position. So you need to be very intentional with what you want. So as I talked about us defining our goals, and even as we define our goals and set the goals, we should be able as well to have that, be very realistic with what you want. You might not achieve a managerial position within the first 1 year. You might not achieve maybe an officer position within the 1 year. But as you start small as a volunteer, then have clear goals, network, and then seek mentorship, I'm sure it'll grow your career. So as job seekers, we need to be very intentional about this. So approach people, get this advice, seek mentors, and then you can be able to grow. One thing at this point, especially for entry level, it's more important gaining skills now than losing your career and starting to track your steps after 3 years. And maybe you went into the wrong career because of money, and then now after 3 years you've lost your job. Like someone goes into sales, as you are a HR. After 3 years you lose your sales job, and you have no any other qualification in sales apart from maybe the experience. And then you are competing with people that have experience in sales, people that have papers in sales. So you have to retrack and get back to your career. So let's be very intentional with what we are doing. Let's be very intentional with what you want. Money will come. When you have the skills, money will come. But at this point, be very contented with the skills.
Thank you for that question. So Lorna is asking, hello Jay and the team, kindly help an individual understand. You've been in this role for more than 5 years, and during that period, you have empowered yourself and went back to school in order to change your career. But you find out that the role that you can play is given to somebody else, which demotivates you. So my question is, why do HRs do that?
Now, again, that one goes back to the organizational policy. There are organizations that have policies, very good policies when it comes to even promotions. You get an extra paper, and even based on your performance, you are able to get promoted. But if you don't see this in your organization, it might be an issue of the policy. The policy is not clear on the promotion. So as a job seeker, or even as an individual, when you see that you're not growing in an organization for more than 3 years, you need to be moving. You need to seek another job and move. So you should not be demoralized in the same organization being there for more than 5 years and still feel that you'll grow. For me, I always advise that if you see that you're not growing within the 3 years, then it's time for you to move.
Yeah, I hope, Lorna, that question has been answered. We have Lonzo. So what can one do if an employer fails to give HR his full mandate to exercise his duty and fails to give contract at the start and also extend the salary payment dates to the day he fails to pay? He fails to pay.
Now, one thing as a HR you need to do when you get to a new job, you need to do an analysis. You need to do an audit of the existing policies, existing structures. Are there any gaps? So once you understand that the gaps that are there is maybe contracts, there are no contracts. As a HR, you need to start by advising the organization to get contracts. If the organization is not giving you enough space for you to perform your roles, then you need to quit. Within the first month, you are still on probation. You can give 7 days notice and leave. I know most of us, when we get into organizations, how we treat the employers or how we interact with the employers within the first month will make the employer understand you easily. So if you go to an organization, the first month you get paid on 10th. The second month, the employer pays you on 15th, and you are still in that organization, not advising, not speaking. Well, how do you expect that the employer will give you a chance to talk to him about the same thing after 4 months? So when you get into not this is just like a relationship. Any relationship, when you entertain someone within the first days of that relationship, then it means that you are already you are okay with what they are doing. So there's no way someone will change because you entertain them in the first days. So keep on entertaining them. But if you feel that you're seeing a red flag in that organization, then for me, I will feel that if the boss is not listening to you, you need to quit and seek another job.
Okay, so we have another question from Peter. So when your company is becoming insolvent, how do you tell the recruiter why you are seeking a job transition without making your current company look bad?
Now, in most cases where companies are becoming insolvent, they'll even advise you to look for jobs, for other jobs. And it's very okay to talk about it, especially if the company itself has declared. Yeah, it will not make you look like the company that you're working for is bad, but it's it's just normal that the company gave you an opportunity, gave you a go ahead for you to look for other jobs. But unless it is something that you feel you need to hide, for me, I don't see any reason why you should hide this because it is if it's evident, maybe you're getting salaries, you are yet to get your March salary and we are in June, and then that is something that you should just talk about it openly. For me, I don't see the reason why you should hide that.
Okay. Thank you, Peter, for the question. We have Consolata asking, hello, Matt, should a HR assistant and entry-level position earn like in the job market? So how much does a HR assistant in an entry-level position should earn?
Now, in terms of salaries, that goes back to the individual companies. There are companies that will pay an assistant 100,000. There are companies that will pay an assistant 30,000. So that goes back to individual companies and even as well the size of the company. So you can't compare what Unilever or Safaricom will pay an assistant to what JCBs will pay an assistant. Yeah. So that goes back to an individual company and maybe now your skills and even your previous roles. So if you are working or if you are keen on just getting into the field, you might consider something lower because you really want to get into the field. But if you are working now, you can consider based on now your current salary. But they are no standard. When you look at when you even talk about searching about salaries, unless it's a specific industry, let's say the service industry. Service industry might differ from manufacturing industry and even now the other industries. So you look at the industry, then you can be able to align. But there are no specific salary rates as at now.
Yeah, to the last question, Cynthia is saying, thank you for this webinar. It's motivating for us job seekers and especially to me. So just on what you have mentioned on email body, may you help me on how the email body should appear after attaching the required documents? Yeah, when doing a job application via email.
Now, when doing a job application via email, as I've said, if they tell you that the advert says that send us your CV and cover letter, attach those two documents. And when doing an application, unless it is asked, always make sure that you're doing an application in the PDF format when sending these two documents, PDF formats. And also the other thing for job seekers is that always make sure you can try this even before with your friend or even with your other email. Make sure that your CV is accessible. There are job seekers who send CVs that are not accessible. You've been sending these CVs to more than 200 people, and it's not especially for entry-level positions. Not very many people out of 100 people, maybe out of 1,000 people, you'll maybe have one or two people that can be able to do you an email back and tell you that your CV is not opening. But where we are getting 1,000 applications, how will someone start calling you back or even texting you that your email is not, your CV is not visible? So make sure that you try this even before you said. If you're not getting feedback, then you can be able to try this out. So now, an email body based on the job that you're applying for. For example, you're applying for a HR assistant position. You can just do an email body. The subject, you do the HR assistant application. The email body, dear sir or madam, please find attached documents. Please find attached CV and cover letter for the position of a HR assistant in your organization. I believe I'm the best candidate for this position because of the experience that I have, the 5 years experience that I have, and experience working. If they've talked about they're looking for someone that has worked within the manufacturing industry or even the service industry, you can mention that in the email body, my experience working in the service or manufacturing industry, and I'll be looking forward to hear from you. Kind regards, or yours faithfully, Sheila Njau. So it depends with the position, and also now you can incorporate some of the skills and that you bring on, some of the skills that relate to that job in the email body. So talk about your fit, you being a fit for that position in the email body.
Yeah, I think that's the last question. So thank you so much, Jay, for just joining and just sharing words of wisdom. We really, really appreciate it. Just being vulnerable and just sharing your journey and your story. We really appreciate. And also for the guys who joined, thank you for joining and just staying up to now. We really appreciate. And at this point, because I don't want to take so much time, I'll invite Skylar just to tell you guys about the upcoming event. So, Skylar.
Hi, good evening.